Hey there, it's nice to have you back here with us for another lesson in the Build Your Own BPOS course. This is going to be the first of 3 lessons that will get us started with marketing and promotions topics. We're calling it price numbers and manual discounts, but we'll also be doing an overview of marketing and promotions in general before we get into those specific topics. But after we do hit on some major marketing and promotions points and show you around a bit, we'll then jump into price numbers. You might remember them from previous lessons, but we'll revisit them and go over a few other things that we didn't before. And then we'll finish this lesson with a look at our manual discount options. As you'll come to see, there are many methods that we can use to discount products in BPOS, which fall into 2 broad categories: manual and then automatic or scheduled discounts. The manual methods tie right back into the last lesson on till functions, and the automatic or the scheduled type, those discount methods will begin covering in the next lesson. So for now, let's just go through a few general marketing and promotions things that are related to BPOS. Now, I'm sure we're all aware of what marketing is and what promotions are, so I won't bore you with some dictionary definitions or anything like that. I will just summarize that collectively, the marketing and promotions components in BPOS, along with some various other configurations throughout the system, are how we can facilitate price changes to a lower value than what is set as the normal price at the product level. It's a simple concept. We first set a standard price that we want to charge for a product, but then we occasionally may offer it at a reduced price. Now, that may be part of a wider marketing strategy within the organization, which could be things like special account holder pricing or simply a seasonal marketing plan or something like that. Or the reduced price may be a one-off promotion, so we find ourselves overstocked on a product and we just want to clear it out of stock, so it's a one-off promotion, we discount a product. Or, as you'll come to see later in this lesson, the one-off promotions may not necessarily be a planned promotional thing, but just a spur-of-the-moment manual discount for any number of reasons. In upcoming lessons, you'll learn how to schedule various promotion types, from something like basic time-based happy hour to more complex multi-buy scenarios. But for now, let's just head into back office and have a look at what's what. We'll run through some system-wide configurations, etc. The first thing that I want to show actually are some operator privileges, believe it or not. I know I said we'd come back to these throughout the course, and we certainly are. So more specifically, we'll look at some privileges for this fictional organization's marketing manager named Mark Pomovsky. So let's have a look at what Mark can and cannot do in his role as head of marketing and promotions at No Hats, No Stars here in our made-up fictional venue. So on the General tab here, we can see that Mark can use back office. By the way, he's got group settings turned off so that he's not adopting the settings of the marketing group. But he can use back office, although with compact mode enabled. Can't really do much else here, although he can maintain some schedules. He also has access to the venue stores and tills list, although he can't maintain anything within it or global settings. He can, though, maintain till function maps. You'll see why he would need to maintain those when we get into the manual discount till functions today, and why a marketing manager may need to access those types of things and maintain those. He can also maintain scheduled jobs and points profiles, again, something else that would be related to marketing and promotions potentially. On the maintenance tab, cool, he can view products, but he can't edit or create new products, but he can edit prices, he can edit prod store info, and he can edit product sizes. So all things that a marketing and promotions manager may need to handle or maintain and do from time to time. In addition, he can also maintain key map settings, so he can design those. He can maintain product profiles, again, something that's related to marketing and promotions that we'll get into another time. And he can also view and edit product custom info, so there are certainly some things that we could do with custom fields that could be related to marketing and promotions. Can't do much else or nothing at all for operators or suppliers, but you can do everything there is to do related to accounts and memberships and scheduled billing. Now, in stock control, very limited stock control abilities here for Mark, really just to be able to view some cost and stock information, nothing else you can do here. Marketing and promotions, though, of course, this is his wheelhouse. He can do everything there is to do related to promotions and messaging and raffles. As for reporting, a couple things that we're going to allow our marketing manager to do here, but some things that he's not allowed, so he can view product reports, account-related reports, of course, all marketing reports, and then within views, he can add and edit his own views only. He can only maintain views that he creates. On the Till Privileges tab, not much that we are going to allow the marketing manager to do. After all, he's not the type of person that's going to be ringing up sales very often, but regardless, he can operate tills and he can perform these account and discount functions, so he is able to sort of test some things out when he sets those up in back office. One thing I'll point out for now, because this will come up again later, is that we have separate privilege flags that control the ability to use preset discounts and for manual amount discounts. And I'll explain more about that once we get into the till function setups later. Also, take note of the till button privileges that we mentioned these in the last lesson, but in this case, Mark has only one of those turned on, so that's enabled for some functions that may have restricted access that will make use of this flag and require that an operator needs to have this flag turned on to be able to use a particular till function. So what I'll do now that we've seen what Mark can and cannot do, and remember that he's got compact mode turned on, is that I will log out and I will log back in as Mark. Cool, so straight away we can see the effect of having compact mode turned on, and all those things that Mark did not have the ability to access or maintain have all been removed. But he can access the product list. He can view products, but if we open one, you can see everything's grayed out here. He cannot edit anything. If he tries to, let's say, edit the name of that, it hasn't actually changed it. It has just saved the product record and reverted back to the original name there. Cool. This lesson's on marketing and promotion, so we'll stick the course here. I'll come down to the marketing and promotions list. So just give you a rundown of everything that will be covered in this course. So in the next couple of lessons, we'll look at product promotions. There's two different types of or multiple types of product promotions that we've got. If I open that, 3 different types, and we'll cover these price promotions and multi-buy promotions over the next couple lessons. In an upcoming lesson, we will look at vouchers and voucher price promotions. In this course, we'll also have a look at prize promotions. As I said, we'll look at vouchers, so we'll see how to set those up and how we can define voucher sets as well. But some of these other components here within the marketing and promotions menu are just a bit out of the scope of this course, so we won't get into them, but all of this stuff is documented in written documentation for us. Remember that Mark also did have the ability to access marketing reports, so we have upcoming lessons on reports where we will touch on these briefly, and we'll probably look at them again once we get into vouchers in the future as well, but just know that we have these marketing reports here for us to access and analyze as well. Now, if we recall back to Mark's privileges from just a few minutes ago, he had some limited access to operational and system setups, amongst other things that he's got limited access to. So we can see here in operational setup, there's not much Mark can access other than schedules and some printing setups there. And within system setup, again, just the things that we've given him access to are available to him. And even if we go into the venue stores and tills list, because he cannot maintain global settings, his operator privileges will not even allow him to view global settings. So to continue with this lesson and show you the other things that I need to, I will actually need to log out as Mark and log in as someone else. And then back to our venue settings. or back to the venue stores and tills list, and I'll open venue settings. The first setting that I want to mention within venue maintenance is on the flags tab. It's in this system flag section, and it is called promos from original store. So this is very much related to multi-store environments and the store level price number redirection, which we'll be getting into in a separate lesson. However, I did just want to point this out today. So simply knowing that we can redirect prices from other stores should be enough to get the gist of this flag's purpose, because since prices can be redirected from other stores to the store of the till, this flag will set that the products that are on promotion in the original store will be on promotion in the redirected store. If this flag is not set, if it's off, then promotions will have to be set and active in the till's actual store. Okay, the next flag that I'd like to cover is actually going to require us going through a small component of the system that are called reason codes. It's a pretty straightforward concept really, but it does need some explanation. So at the venue level here, we can decide if the system will ask for a reason when these specific actions take place at the tills. But before we can turn any of these on, at the global level, we have to define the system's reason codes. So let me just close this and I will open up those. So here in global settings on the other names tab is where we can actually set up the system's reason codes down here. We can have up to 15 of them configured. The reason name is what will show in reports such as operator summaries and so forth, so we can see who's used which reason code or how many reason codes have been used. And the reason prompt, whatever we enter into this text field here, is what's going to show at SmartPause. So I'll just add a couple here for now so we can see them in action a bit later. There we go, so we've got a couple created here that we can use when a manual discount is being used. One we'll say there's a manager approved manual discount and the other is a customer service related manual discount. Cool, so I'll save those back to our venue flags. So for this one called manual discount given, now that we have reason codes configured and this flag is turned on, when an operator does apply a manual discount in SmartPause, they will be prompted to select an available reason. So of those two reasons that we just created. All right, the next bit as far as setups for discount goes is on the names tab, and it is the discounts and surcharges and the price names. Now, I know that we've looked at these and explained them a little bit. I believe it was in the System Setup 101 lesson initially, and then went through them in a bit more detail in one of the product lessons. So what we'll do now is just sort of review what we've already set up previously, and we'll explain things a little bit further. So if you can remember back to those previous lessons, the discounts and surcharges section is where we can define the system's discount buckets, or so to speak, for reporting purposes. And the price name section is where we can set up different price levels that might be used for things like account pricing or takeaway pricing, for example. If you recall, the system does come out of the box with a few discount and surcharge totalizers defined already, but we can add up to 30 of them. We can define 30 of them, I should say. And for price names, just the normal or the base price name is predefined for price number 1. We then defined price number 2 as accounts, and we linked that to discount totalizer number 2, which is set up for account discounts. What that means is that when a product is repriced from its normal price to use the accounts price, the discount amount is going to report to that discount totalizer. In more general terms, I guess, how the discount totalizers relate to the price names is that for each one, if a product's price name has a different price compared to that of the normal base price, so price number 1, that price difference, whether it be a discount or a surcharge, will report to whichever item discount name is defined for it. So if I add, let's say, another price name and we call it happy hour, One way that we could then administer automatic discounts would be to set product prices for this price name, and we could schedule that price number to be active during a preset period of time. We would then need to set which discount totalizer we'd want the happy hour price change discounts to report to. So for that, we could have all of our promotions report to this generic promotion discount totalizer. Or maybe we'd want that particular price name discount to report to a different one that we might define as something like a time window discount. And then that shows up straight away in that drop down for us, so we can select that. We've now defined discount totalizer number 5 as time window discount, and we've defined price number 3 as happy hour, and have those reporting to that discount totalizer whenever there is going to be either a price reduction or a price increase, so a discount or a surcharge related to that price name being in effect. We could, by the way, do a similar thing, but in reverse. So if we have certain days or times that prices are going to be increased to account for a surcharge, for example, where we would then define the price name and the surcharge totalizer and set product prices for the time period that the surcharge price name would be used. Now, when we get to our manual discount till function options in just a little bit, you'll see that within the till function setup, we will need to configure which discount totalizer to have the manual discount till functions report to. Again, for those, we could simply use the generic promotion totalizer, but maybe we'd rather define a separate one for manual discounts, and then we could assign it when we configure the till functions. Cool, so I've got that created now as discount totalizer number 6. You'll see that when we get into the till function setup, that we will actually need to enter that number 6 into one of the fields there where we actually define the discount totalizer for the till function. By the way, while we're here, I should point out the show flag here, what this is referring to. This controls whether or not the discount or surcharge name will be shown on the operator and customer screens, as well as print on receipts. So if we do want a discount or surcharge totalizer name to appear, we just need to turn the flag on for it. Alright, another thing I want to revisit before we get to our till functions themselves and the manual discounts there is I will just save this and head back to product maintenance, to our product list, and I'll just open up, let's go with the espresso martini here. So just a quick refresher on price names and price modes. Since we have just defined price number 3 as happy hour, we now have a pricing column as well as a price mode column for it here. We can then schedule a price change for when this price name will be active. We'll get into that another time, but then maybe during happy hour, when this price name is going to be active, we will discount the espresso martini here to $15. Now, don't forget, I mentioned these a second ago, that we have the price modes as well. So if we want to set up pricing for different price names using these options, we can do that as well, rather than just leaving them as use this price. For example, there may be some products that we don't want discount, or that we don't want to discount at all, or maybe not during the happy hour period or whichever. So we would just set them as use base price, and then once that when this price level is being used, they would still use the base price, normal price anyway. You can see the other options here as well, which are all somewhat self-explanatory, but if you do have any questions about any of them, they are all explained in detail in written documentation. We've got a bit more to get to in this lesson though, so one final thing before we focus on manual discounts. If I save this and go back to workstation maintenance, is I just want to remind you that we can set the default price name for a till here on the till setup tab in this default section where we have this price drop down, and we can set that to any of the defined price levels. So by all means, I could manually change this to happy hour pricing now if I'd like to, and we could then manually revert that back to a normal the normal base price mode, or sorry, the normal base price name at another point in time. But like I said, that is something that we can schedule the system to do for us, but we will save that for another time. We will shift gears a bit now to manual discounts. So let me just save this. Now, this next portion of the lesson is going to combine a few things from a couple different lessons, including the last one when we created a till function map. So speaking of which, let's actually head back to the one that we set up from last time. If I open till function maps, remember there's a couple different ways that we could get this open. We could double click on this from the list here. We could go with edit highlighted function map, because that's the one that's been assigned to the highlighted till, or we could go maintain function maps, and we've got our list of those there. I'll just show you a different way because I know we used that method last time. So I can just double click on that and we've got our till function map open now. If you recall, we created this one using the restaurant template. I believe it's called table service in the list of templates, and that template included a pricing panel that we've got here that's been pre-configured like so. So quite a few discount functions already set up for us. And if we look at the sub functions that we have for discounts, there's a couple dozen or so here. We won't be able to get through all of them individually in this lesson. As you'll see, a lot of the setup options and principles are the same or similar from one to the next, and all of them do have descriptions that explain their usage, so don't fret that we're not going to go through all 20 or so of these individually. Promise you that we'll cover everything that you do need to know. By the way, I do just want to show you before we get into these how this would look at the till, because we have some double buttons here. So what I'll do is I'll pull up Smart Pause, and if I navigate to the pricing panel, you can see that these are indeed, for the most part, all double wide buttons with the exception of these two over here. So just note that when we look at this a little bit later, I'm going to make some changes to some of these when we come back into Smart Pause and use some. So I'll just cancel out of that for now. All right, so the first thing we should actually discuss before we get started with setting up any of these manual discount till functions is the difference between order discounts and item discounts. If I open that sub function list again, you can see that we have a few that cater for each of those. We've got a bunch of item related discount till functions here, and then we have some order related ones down here as well. So this will take a bit of explanation, but for the most part, as the name suggests, the order discounts are going to apply to the entire transaction, while item discounts are going to apply to the individual items from within the transaction. The main difference really is how the discounts are applied and then reported. For example, since order discounts are going to be applied to the entire transaction, from a product reporting perspective, the monetary value of the discount is going to be prorated amongst the products in the transaction. Also, very important, order discounts do not, I repeat, order discounts do not use the discount totalizers that we have configured in venue maintenance. Order discounts use a separate set of 4 order discount totalizers that are simply numbered 1 through 4. So if I highlight one of these order discounts here from the panel, and by the way, the description here explains a bit for us, this will add a discount percentage to the overall transaction amount, not the individual line items. And you can see for the key field here that we can select a discount totalizer from 0 to 3. Those are the system's hard-coded 4 order discount totalizers that we can choose from to have order discounts from this function or other order discount functions report to. While for item discounts, if I select one of those, the full monetary value will simply apply straight to the product or individual products that are being discounted. And we can see in the description here, basic single item discount by percentage. This will discount the highlighted item only in the transaction for this specific one. And for the key field, the discount totalizer in this case is from 1 to 30. So those are the ones that we can define in venue maintenance. By the way, I know I've mentioned it already, but all of these will have some info that appear here. So for the ones that we do not cover in this lesson, you'll still be able to see a description of what they'll do. Now, I guess since I've got this one selected, we'll just start with it. So as we discussed in the last lesson, and as you've just seen, these item, sub-item, and key fields are all going to be different from one sub-function to the next. However, for the discount functions, a lot of the options do remain the same or very similar. For example, for this item percent discount function, we can use the item field here to set the discount percent in hundredths, meaning that if we want to have a 10% discount apply, we'd need to enter 1000 into this field. And this would be a good time, by the way, to explain that most of our manual discount till function buttons can also be configured to be either semi-manual, where there's a preset percentage or a preset monetary amount, or they can be fully manual, where the operator can enter the percentage or the monetary amount from SmartPOS. And that was the difference if we remember back to the operator privileges. If we just open up that real quickly again. Between these flags here, the privilege for preset discounts or the one for manual amount discounts. So for the fully manual option, which should be used with caution or utilize that privilege flag and these privilege flags here, we would simply enter 0 into the field rather than enter discount percent in hundredths. In that case, if 0 is entered into the field, what's going to happen is that from the till, the operator is going to be prompted to enter the discount percentage in this case that is going to apply to the discount or to the item in this instance for that specific transaction. And the next time that this till function button is used again, a different operator might use it and they could enter a different percentage if they wanted to, because we're leaving it completely manual by having 0 entered into the item field there. Now that one's for percentages. Alternatively, we do have a number of sub-functions that are for entering discount amounts rather than discount percents. One of them is this item discount amount sub-function. So again, for this one, we could leave 0 in here and have it be sort of open-ended and up to the operator to enter the discount amount that they'd like to set. Or we could set this with a predefined discount amount. And you can see that it needs to be set in cents/pennies. So if we wanted this to be for a $1 discount, we would need to have it entered as 100 and so forth. Now, if I just tab down through these, keep an eye on the item field, and notice that a large majority of them make very similar use of the item field. And feel free to take a look in your systems as well, just to confirm you do have the same sub-functions and sub-functions that I do. But moving down to the sub-item field, these will change a bit from function to function, even within the discount category, but they are all explained for each of them. One thing to remember from the last lesson is that we can add numbers together for combining functionality. So for example, I've got a decent one selected here already. So for this item discount amount, if we wanted to discount the gross amount only and prevent the same discount from being used in the one transaction and ask for a reason, we could enter 7 into the field here. And by the way, yes, for a handful of these discount functions, I should mention, because we've got the ask reason option there, we can control individually if we'd like to prompt for a reason, even if that venue flag for prompting for a reason code is off. Now, one other sub-item use case that's seen for a few of these, if I can find one, if I remember, is going to be the current item percent. There we go. So for this one called current item percent and a few others, we'll discount only if items match to the sort or type that's been configured here in the sub-item field. So for these, 0 we can see is going to be used for all, for discounting everything. Select a number from 1 to 30 to discount only a single sort. Enter a number from 51 to 58 to discount only a single sort group, and so on for types and type groups, and we can see the numbers there. It's important to note also that in these instances, the numbers cannot be combined together to apply to more than one, only the one number that we can enter in there to apply to either all or to a specific sort group, type, or type group. Alright, and the final sub-item option that I will point out is for a discount subfunction called order reprice, which lets us reprice a total transaction amount to another amount. And for this, we can set it up to either only reprice to a lower amount, or if we enter 1 into the field, as we can see here, the button will be able to be used to reprice to a higher amount also. Okay, then lastly, for the key fields you saw earlier, they're used to set the discount totalizer. And if I'll just start from the top again, and I'll tab down through these. Just keep an eye on the key field and note that it is used the same for a vast majority of these manual discount till functions, so that we can determine which totalizer each one's discounts will report to. With the exception of a couple here, you can see in this case the key field is used to define the sort or type, and that they will always add to discount totalizer 1. So what I'll do now that we've seen most of these options there, and we have an understanding of the difference between the item discounts and order discounts, and how to set these up to be either preset or fully manual, using for the majority of these using the item field, is I will edit this panel a bit and the functions within it, and then I'll explain what I've done. Alright, so I've made a number of changes here. I'll just explain the changes that I've made, as well as some of the more common manual discount functions that are on this panel, some that I've left on this panel and modified, and some that I added to the panel because they were not already here. So first thing, I'll just point out that for all of these item discounts that are on this top row here, and for this one down here, notice that they're all going to discount totalizer number 6. So if we refer back to the discount totalizer names, that is going to be for our manual discount totalizer that we defined earlier in this lesson. Now I'll explain each of these in detail here. So this first one, item 10% discount, is the item percent discount subfunction. I've defined that the percentage is going to be 10%. Again, I've needed to enter 1,000 into that because the percentage needs to be entered in hundredths. I've left the sub-item field alone here, and yeah, that one's that. Free for all item discount percent, so I have not entered anything into the item field. I haven't predefined or preset the percentage amount, so that is just going to be a free for all at the till. The operator can enter whatever percentage they'd like to when they use that till function, provided that they have the operator privileges enabled to be able to use it, but we do have that set up. Next to that, we've got an item $5 discount. So this is for a single item discount by currency amount, and we'll discount the highlighted item only in the transaction, so a good thing to keep in mind there. And we've got that set up. This as well is set up in cents or pennies, so for a $5 discount we need to have 500 entered into there. Next to that, I've got item reprice to $10, so this will reprice the net each of the highlighted item only in the transaction. So again, only the highlighted item in the transaction, and note that this is what we're entering into the item field here is what we intend to reprice the item to. It's not a discount amount or anything. If we want to reprice to $10, so if it's a $12 item or if it's a $5 item, we can reprice it to $10, and we just need to have that entered in there, again in cents or pennies. In this case, this would not normally ask for a reason code, even if we have that flag turned on in venue maintenance, so I've added one into the sub-item field to ask for a reason. Next to that one, I've got one labeled as wine 5% discount. So we can see this will discount the highlighted item only. So only the highlighted item in the transaction, and only if it matches to the sort or type setting that's been set here. So I've entered 105 into the sub item field here. Why is that? If we look back to the global settings, remember that was for wine, and we come to our sorts and types. Here in the product types, we have wine and sparkling defined for product type number 5. Back to our till function map. For product types, we use 101 through 130, so therefore product type 105 needs to be entered to correspond to the wine and sparkling type there. Next to that, we've got 10% discount lowest main. So this is our lowest item percent sub function. This will discount the lowest price item only, so only one item in the transaction will be discounted, and it has to be the lowest priced item, and it has to match to the sort or type setting below. So here I've got 3 entered. That is because that belongs to the sort that's we've defined for our mains in this database. And in this case, we are going to discount the lowest main in a transaction by 10%. Next to that, we've got item comp. So this is just going to give any highlighted item from the transaction 0 price. It's going to reprice it to nothing. We're comping that item completely. This is one in particular where we would probably want to have a privilege flag turned on and require that an operator then needs to have that flag enabled to be able to use it, along with a few other of these, probably the free-for-all item discount being another one. And the last item discount that I've got is this all soft drink 25% discount. So for this one, this will apply the percentage discount to all individual items in the transaction that match to the sort or type setting. So not only to one item, if it's the highest or lowest, or if it's the currently highlighted item, and not just to not just to those things. This will apply to all products in the transaction that match to whichever sort or type are configured here. In this case, I've got that set up to apply to all of our packaged soft drinks in this database and to give them a 25% discount. Down to the order discounts down here. This first one is order percent discount. So it's just as it says, it's a basic transaction discount by percentage. It's going to add the percentage to the overall transaction amount, not the individual line items. When we apply this in SmartPOS in just a minute, you'll see how that displays in the transaction. And for this to be 5%, we've got it set to 500. I'll point out that for these discount totalizers, again, order discounts do not use the discount totalizers that are defined in venue maintenance. They use a hard-coded set of 4 order discount totalizers starting with 0. So this one, I've got 0 entered into the key field. That will use order discount totalizer number 1, even though it is defined as number 0. You'll notice the next one over, I've got 1 entered into that field to use order discount totalizer number 2. Then I've got the next one using order discount totalizer number 3, even though we need to enter 2 for it. And the same for that one. And for this one, I've got order discount totalizer number 3 entered, or 3 is entered into the field to use order discount totalizer number 4, is what I should say. So back to this one, order discount or order $20 discount is an order discount amount. So very similar to the order discount percent or the order percent discount. However, this will discount by the amount that has been entered into this field. Again, we need to enter as cents and pennies, so I've entered 2,000 to give us a $20 discount. No options for the sub item field for that one, by the way. Next one, we have order reprice any to $50. So this is our order reprice sub function, which we can see is will be prompted to enter an amount, or we would be if we didn't have one predefined here. In this case, I have entered 1 into the sub item field so that we can reprice the order to any price if it's higher or lower than the initial original base price that's been used. And similar to the item discount, we want to enter into the item field the number that we want to reprice the order to, not a discount amount. So if we want to reprice an order to $50, we need to enter 5,000 in there. Cool. Next to that, I have one that is similar in that it uses the same subfunction of order reprice. However, this one is set up, configured to only allow us to reprice to a lower amount. So I've entered 0 into the sub item field, and we'll see how that will work in SmartPOS in just a second. And lastly, we have one called order surcharge. So this is going to actually add a surcharge onto the order, onto the transaction. We can see that's explained for us here. And we need to enter the surcharge percent in hundredths. So for a 10% order surcharge, 1,000 into the field. Again, no options for the sub item, and we've got that reporting to our order totalizer number 4, which we enter into the key field as 3. Okay, so with those set up like that, we will jump into SmartPOS and we'll see those in action. Actually, before I do that, one other thing I want to show you is that when I was setting these up, I also, on the names tab for our manual discount name, I've turned this flag on to show. So it will show this line at the till as we ring these up, and as we apply these discounts, it will show the discount line in SmartPOS, and we'll show the amount, and it'll show that discount name. Alright, so the first one that we'll use here will just be the item 10% discount, so I'll just select a couple items here. And again, this will only apply to a highlighted item. And because we have that venue level reason code flag turned on, we are prompted to enter one of those reason codes that we configured earlier, so I'll need to select one. We'll say this one's a manager approved manual discount. Cool, we can see that that 10% discount has indeed been applied only to that highlighted item. And as I mentioned just a minute ago, because we have selected to show the manual discount line, that's going to show there for us, and it's going to show us the amount as well. That would then print on a receipt for us also. Cancel that one. Next one up will be our free-for-all item percentage discount. So I'll just add a few things here, and cool, because that's been configured without a preset discount percentage, we are able to just enter whatever we'd like into this field as the percentage amount. So again, we're prompted to enter a reason for this discount. We'll just select the same one. And this is just a free-for-all item discount, so only to the highlighted item in the transaction. So that's given us a 50% discount, or $10 off of our espresso martini there. I'll leave this transaction up, and we'll also do a $5 item discount to a highlighted item. So we'll go with our martini there. We'll say this one's been pre-approved also. So that's taken $5 off of that No Hats Classic Martini, and it has added, you can see our manual discount totalizer now has been brought to $15. It's added that $5 discount in there. And still within the same transaction, I will go with repricing our Negroni here from $20 to $10. Just need to enter a reason there for us again, but there we go. Now we've repriced that, and that has added to our discount totalizer there also. We'll cancel out of this. The next one up is only going to apply for wine, and if we remember correctly, that it has to be the product has to match to that sort or type that we've defined, and it is only going to be the selected item from the transaction. So if I add some products to the transaction that are not wine, that don't belong to that sort group, and I try to discount using that, I'm going to get a message prompt that the highlighted product does not belong to that sort or type. However, if I do add a product that does belong, and then I go and that is highlighted, and I go to use that, cool, looks like it's going to work. I've been asked for a reason code, so I'll select that, and it has indeed discounted that 5% for us. Cool, cancel that, cancel that. The next one up is going to discount the lowest priced main. So I'll add a couple different mains here that belong to that, and go ahead and use that. Now notice the lowest priced one here is the half chicken meal is $1 less than the chilled tiger prawns. So when I select that, again prompted to select a reason, and that indeed was discounted by 10% because it was the lowest priced of the two mains there. With this still open, I will select the item comp. Remember that I configure this to ask for a reason, even though it normally would not need one, or it could be configured without needing one, I should say. So we are then asked to enter a reason code. We'll say this one's a customer service related one, and that has then been comped, repriced down to 0 for us. Cool, cancel out of those. Oh, and cancel that. Next one I'll show while we're still on item discounts is all soft drinks. So first thing I'll do is I'll add some that are not soft drinks, and I will try to use that. And there's no matching products to discount, so of course it's not going to discount anything. However, if I do have some soft drinks added in here, and remember that this is going to apply to all matching products in the transaction, not just to the lowest or the highest or one that's been selected. So when I select that, I do need to enter a reason code, but then all of the matching products from the transaction are discounted at once, and again we can see the discount totalizer there. New transaction. Let's apply a 5% discount. I'll just add a few products here. 5% discount, just like that, no reason code needed. And in this case, for our order discount, we do not see the order discount name. Again, they're just hard-coded order discounts 1 through 4, but we can still see that it's been reduced by 5%, and we can see the amount over here as well. Now we can sort of stack these together. As you saw, we could do so with the item discounts. So if I were to now select the $20 discount for the order, that's going to apply it there. We can see that that amount is going to show for us in the transaction window. Cancel, cancel. We'll start over. Now this one, remember, that I'm going to use next can be used to reprice any, so we can reprice to over. So if the transaction price is lower, we can reprice up to $50. So if I just add a couple things here, and I'm not sure of a use case where we would want to do this, but you never know. I'm sure the use case is out there, but just to demonstrate that we can do this, the balance currently sits at $45, and how this is configured, we can reprice that up to $50 if we'd like to, and it's just going to add a $5 amount in there, and that is going to report to that order discount totalizer that we had configured in the till function, but as a positive amount. Cancel, cancel. What I'll do here is I'll add a few things, and I'll use this one for only lowering the price using the order reprice function. So because I don't have the order or the reprice amount predefined, I am prompted to enter the reprice, and if I tried to enter a higher amount, I'm not going to be able to reprice to that amount because I've got the sub item field set up there to allow me to only reprice lower. So I'll cancel that. And I'm sure there's some use cases out there where we might want to reprice down to maybe $40, and we can do so, and we can see the negative amount that's entered there. And last up, I'll just use this same transaction that we're in right now, and I will add a 10% order surcharge for us. And there we go, just like that, we can see the 10% that's been added there, and we can see the amount of $4.25 that has been added. Cool, and that covers it for our manual discounts. We've seen a mix of order and item discounts and a mix of sort of these preset, predefined semi-automatic manual discounts, and also the fully full manual discounts where we can enter the percentage amounts and the monetary values right at the till. One final point as I'm mentioning that on using these manual till functions is that when we're using these that can be used to possibly heavily discount and reprice items and entire transactions, we really should drive home the implementation of these operator privilege flags. I know I've mentioned these in the last lesson and briefly earlier in this one, but when these are used correctly, implementing operator privileges will really go a long way to help to prevent the misuse of these till functions and these manual discounts, and therefore to prevent some potential losses to the venue. Okay, well, with that, I bid you farewell for now. Thanks as always, and we'll see you next time.